Here we go. Here we go. Late night live session. I still got to turn some cameras on. Here we go. I'll be on the mic. Y'all give me a second. Turn down some of these lights. There's a lot that goes into this, more than what y'all see. I You already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. I got the camera set at a different angle, so I'm looking up. I think I'm gonna switch that real quick. Let's see. Boom. Y'all bear with me. This was a spur of the moment thing, so I gotta do a little adjusting. Drag this screen down here. One day I gotta show you all my setup, man. I got a whole bunch of stuff laid out in front of me. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So, how is everybody tonight? Let me run back real quick and catch some comments. First and foremost, happy Halloween. Know if y'all can hear me all right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Good deal. All right. So I've already taken my night meds. I take all types of meds to sleep for y'all that don't know. It's crazy. Who'd ever thought I have to take meds for nightmares, for anxiety, insomnia, oh no, a whole bunch of crazy shit just to be able to sleep. Shit is real. But I was wide awake. I said, you know what? It's Halloween, man. This is my favorite, by far my favorite holiday of the year. I cannot not go live tonight. So we got to get out here and get it cracking, man. I got some stories tonight that I've never shared before. Stories I wasn't sure I would ever share, but there's a time and a place for everything, and I think that tonight is the time for some of these stories, man. So with all that being said, let me pay some respects real quick and jump up in here. Some places it is still Halloween. For me, it is Halloween until I wake up. 12 o'clock does not stop Halloween for me. Halloween stops when I wake up and it's a new day. Wesley Mitchell says, shout out to Lance. Hey, absolutely, man. He's fighting. He's fighting. And you can't, a lot of people got a lot of things to say about Lance, but I tell you this 75% of the world wouldn't do what he does. And I'd say 50% of the people watching, talking shit, get high, but would never get on camera and say it. So shout out to him for being true to who he is, man. And I do think that his story is, in one way or another, going to eventually help somebody else. And that's the win-win. Took the kids out tonight, man. It's nothing like the old school. It's not like it was back when we were kids. Remember when we were kids, man, the streets were flooded with kids. All the lights were on. Everybody running chaotic. Now it's trunk or treat. Like I think we had maybe 10 kids come to the door. That's sad. That's 10 trick-or-treaters. We got ginormous bags of chocolate. All the good candy. And my kids ended up with it. Late night tip. Still trying to catch up on the comments. Give me a second. And setting up, it took a second. Got a bunch of people here. Zebby, hey, salute. Vegas in here, salute. AZ Ruction, what is going on, my guy? If y'all haven't checked out AZ Ruction, make sure you go over there, get a man a like and subscribe, as he would say. Good, solid guy, man. There's not a lot of guys I talk to, but the ones I do talk to, I talk to them for a reason, man. Zebby in the house. Y'all go check out Zebby. As y'all know, there's some beef brewing right now. And I tell y'all, just like I tell all the other guys, when people draw lines in the sand, unless I'm involved in it personally, I stand in the middle. And I honestly try to stop this stuff from happening because I feel like as content creators, this is just my point of view. Me and AZ had this conversation the other night. Shout out to AZ Ruction again. He said that they did a poll and they asked these kids, like young kids, what they wanted to be when they grew up. And 76% of them said a successful YouTuber, which means that they're watching us. They watch our moves. They mimic our moves. They do the things we do. So when I get on here, I want to represent myself accordingly. I preach no violence. I preach, think before you act, think before you speak. And I have to live by that. I've also got a lot of opportunities coming up in the future with going into schools and talking to small children, talking to high schools, colleges. If I get on YouTube and they see me beefing and arguing with this person and going back and forth, they're going to be like, maybe we should go back to the drawing board. Maybe this is not the guy we want to come into the schools if he can't stay out of trouble at 42 years old. So I don't go back and forth on YouTube. Takes a lot to trigger me. I really don't care much what the next man does. What you eat don't make me ish. So with that being said, no shots fired at anybody, man. It's all love where I come from. I've got a bad habit of trying to help others, man. I've actually changed men. I've worked beside men in prison that were bad men, molded them, and I literally watched them change for the better. I don't know if that's a good trait to have or bad, but it's something that I took from prison that I still try to do to this day, man. I see guys that are struggling, guys that have problems, and that are struggling with life, and I try to help them get it right. I don't succeed much, but I try, and that's all I really can do. Jacob Robinette said, "What's good, big bro? Hope you had a great night with your family. God bless. Much love and respect, bro." Hey, Jacob, much love and respect, you too. We did the trunk or treat. It started raining right after we did that, and that pretty much shut down Halloween. We got little ones, so we gotta pee. We gotta pee. I run by the house real quick, pull in the driveway, and the clouds just opened up, and rain just started pouring. But they're happy. Plus, both of them got a little cold, so now I'm coming down with the cold, got the sniffles and all that. So soon I'll be sick. Hopefully not. But we did everything we could. It's cool this go around, man. I remember growing up, we were real poor. When I say poor, like we were poor. You want to know what I was almost every Halloween? A vampire. You know why? All you need to be a vampire is some white face paint, some of them fake dollar store teeth, a little bit of fake blood, and a white shirt, and tie something black around your neck like a cape. But I was a vampire like every year. So with my kids, we go all out, man. I want them to wear those costumes that they want, not really be limited. We are blessed in some aspects, not bragging, very humble. But I try to make sure that their memories are different than mine and that they have the best, man. But it was a great night. And I'm gonna let some more people get in here. We'll get into some more of these comments, and I'm gonna share some stories with y'all that I don't know if I really want to share, man, that I've never really talked to anybody about. But I think in sharing the stories, they can help somebody. Otherwise, I wouldn't speak on them. Antoine Stewart said, "Why I thought the mic was a portable heater. I'm set up. I'm ready to go with the podcast. And like, it's not a game. There are more mics. You just don't see them. There's more cameras. There's a lot more than what you just see laid out in front of you. So I'm ready to go. I just need a location. I'm not bringing strangers to my house. I'm not bringing just random dudes to my house 5 days a week to podcast My family is here. And you don't shit where you sleep. You know what I mean? Saying that you don't do business where you work at. You don't bring strangers to your home. You don't just have anybody at your home. With podcasting, that would 100% happen. Somebody don't like me, they don't like me, and now there's the threat of one of my children getting hurt, wife, somebody I love. Not a risk I'm willing to take for no amount of money or no social media. Hoss said, "Can you change the color through the software? The red is nice though." Yeah, you could change it to. They do all different types of things. These are the HyperX. There's three different models. There's a white model. There's this model, and then there's another model. Um, they're great microphones. They're cost effective. Couple $100 depending on where you get it at. Some places you can get them as cheap as around 100, but then you're gonna pay more for like the boom arms, the cable extensions, the adapters. I've got so many. If y'all can see what I see right now, I've got my laptop in front of me, then I've got a secondary laptop, and then I've got two big screens behind the laptop. So it's a three screen setup with a personal laptop to the side. These mics are great for it. All right, so let me go ahead and jump into the first night story. Vegas prison story in the house. Hey, salute. Yeah, I didn't go StreamYard tonight because I wanted to put this on slow mo, and I haven't figured out how to do that with StreamYard. That's why I'm able to read the comments. If it wasn't on slow mo, they move so fast that I don't get to read the comments, and I like to interact with y'all. So I have to put it on slow mo. And the only way I can do that is through running it through the YouTube stream and not StreamYard. If you can do it on StreamYard, somebody hit me up, man. Let me know how to put slow mo on. Devious Minds, Jay, thanks for what you do. Have any duck stories? I pretty much to my duck that used to throw doo doo at people. Got a couple stories about duck, but some of them are just a little too much to even put out there on YouTube. So I leave that in the background. Steve Pascal, hey, salute. Tony from Reeve in the house. Jay doing the Tony setup. Haha. Hey, y'all make sure y'all go check out Tony from Vera, man. Very, very, very talented man. Hey, I salute you, Tony. I see what you do with the music and the instruments. I watch. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, I don't watch these other guys. No, no, no. No, I watch. You are by far one of the most talented men. And I'm not trying to toot your horn. Just I give respect and give people their flowers while they're here. You are very, very, very talented, man. To see you do all that different stuff and just create music out of thin air, just like you got these instruments and all this different stuff going on. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. So I salute you for that, man. That's dope. That's super dope. Bay Mill say, yo, what's up, Jay Lo, man? Have a good Halloween. He did. He had several costumes to choose from. Plus, he still had his costumes from last year. So he was like, it was like he was changing clothes and they're trying to figure out what to wear. But they have good lives day to day, to be honest. It's hard around Christmas time to like get them things because they're constantly treated throughout the year. It's my fault. I know I spoil my kids, and that's just what it is. So I'm gonna share a story with y'all, man. Before I don't want to state the year, and I don't want to state what state it was in, just for certain reasons. And all this is allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. Let's get a little closer to the mic when we say that. Entertainment purposes only. So we had a bad Halloween many, many years ago, back when I was a teenager, right? Let me try to paint the picture. At the time, I was young, dumb, smoking weed, drinking 40s all day, and I ran with a rough crowd. Now, you had us in school, and then you had like the rich kids, and you had like the jocks. We were more or less like the bad boys. We were the ones that went to the detention center, would disappear for months at a time, and then come back, and the whole school would be buzzing. Oh, he was locked up, and all these different rumors start, and something small. By the time it's over with, it's like all crazy. Well, I ran with a rough group of dudes, man. And most of these guys, ironically enough, are now dead. Majority of them are dead. The rest of them are in prison, and there's a small handful that are free, somehow or another. But I don't have many friends left from those days. So around this time, the goth scene got real big. Grunge music got real big. Kurt Cobain had died, but they were still doing that. Green Day, Dookie, all that stuff it was on. And so you had the grunge guys. Well, there was just one guy in my school particular that was real tall that pre-grunge, like before he became grunge, he hung with the rich kids. I know people from my era, Chris Paul, hey, checking in from Australia. Much love to Australia, man. Thank you. People from my era remember like when grunge hit, it was like the rich kids that went to the grunge. You know what I mean? Like we were the poor kids, so we stuck with the hip hop and the street music. But a lot of rich kids like converted over to grunge. Well, this tall white dude converts to grunge, and he goes from being like this normal rich dude that hung out with rich kids to being like super depressed all the time, to hanging out by himself, kind of isolating himself. Then something happened where like the grunge kids weren't really messing with him. And prior to this, when he was like this rich kid, he used to run his mouth. And on several different occasions, dudes had chased him home, had chased him to his homeboys' cars and them. Well, once he got into the whole grunge scene, we kind of left him alone. Halloween night, many, many, many moons ago, riding around with some homeboys of mine, and we're up to no good. We are driving through these apartment complexes, and I was pretty faded. I was messed up off the Xanax, messed up, had been drinking all night, smoking weed was just, I don't think the weed really even had an effect on me at that time. We were smoking like that old Mexican brick pack. Shout out to the essays, man. We were smoking that stuff that an ounce would be a chunk this big, that thick, and you'd have to peel that bitch apart in layers. So I've been getting just booted all day. I'm gassed, right? It's late night. We're riding down the street, and we drive by a dude, and he's got a hood on, and he's got a mask. So we spin the block. My homeboys and them, they got no good intentions, man. They don't. I'm too slumped to participate in anything. So they jump out the car and they run up on this dude. And when they run up on him, the dude takes the mask off, and it's the tall guy that I was talking about. The tall guy that was previously a rich kid that didn't fit in with the rich kids, that become grunge, was into the whole Kurt Cobain thing, that didn't fit in with the grunge kids. So he was more or less lost and really, really depressed, right? Didn't have a lot of friends anymore. So now he's just a weird grunge rich kid that's not wanted on either side. And the neighborhood was mean to him. Well, they run up on this dude. He takes his mask off, and like I guess he thinks in taking his mask off that they're gonna spare him. When he took his mask off and they seen who he was, it just made it that much worse. I think they would have originally probably just robbed the dude. And none of this is glorifying. This is shit I've got to live with, shit that keeps me awake at night. These are skeletons in my closet. It's terrible. It's stupid, and I can't undo it. But I'm gonna share it with y'all. Allegedly. So he takes his mask off, and a couple of my homeboys have different weapons. A couple of them were props, like things they were using at Halloween that night. We went to this big keg party and got all trashed. Everybody was all dressed up, smeared. I remember my costume that night was like a white shirt that was ripped with just blood all over it, fake blood. And the dude is like, yo, yo, yo. And one of my homeboys, he's dead now, out of nowhere, smacks him in the side of his head with a hammer. Like not a love tap, but he cracked this dude upside his head with his hammer. Laid him out. Hit him one time, and the dude just collapsed. And he dropped, and he dropped hard. I wasn't even aware that he had hit him with the hammer until they got back in the car. I didn't, like I said, I was inebriated. I'm not going to say I wouldn't have participated because there was a time when I was a piece of shit and I would have done something like that. I don't know if I would have gone as far as hitting him with the hammer, but he hit him with the hammer and the dude dropped. And the other dudes, they went through his pockets or whatever. That shit is terrible to tell. Shameful. And they hopped in the car and we sped off. Spent the rest of our night getting messed up, bounced from party to party. Didn't really think much about it, right? We go to school. And mind you now, we're still juveniles. We're not even old enough to drink. We're still going to school. We're talking, young. We go to school. We don't see this kid. Start hearing rumors of how he got jumped on Halloween night, but he's not telling nobody who jumped him. He don't know who jumped him. They had masks on. And all this stuff would eventually come out later on down the line because they tried to charge people, which they couldn't. 3 or 4 days passes. We still don't see him at school. And then I show up to school one morning and there's a whole bunch of kids in the front area of the school and they're crying. About like all these grunge kids are crying. You got rich kids crying. You got kids I don't even know crying. And, I used to ride in with a friend of mine that was older than me that could drive. I wasn't even able to drive at the time. And I come in, I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, such and such hung himself out back of his dad's house. It was the kid that was hit with the hammer that night. The kid that didn't fit in. The kid that was attacked that Halloween night. Part of the letter he left said something along the lines. The most I can really remember is that if this is what life has to offer, I don't want it. And the combination of him being rejected by his friends, then being rejected by the grunge crowd, I think the straw that broke the camel's back was that attack that Halloween night. And he hung himself out back of his dad's house from a tree. Like he had a dog, like this big furry brown dog in his backyard. And he stood on that dog's doghouse, laced up a rope and hung himself. That was a terrible memory to attach to Halloween. People started questioning around and it made its way, who was involved and whatnot. And no charges were ever formally pressed, but it was just crazy. Now, as a 42-year-old man, I've never told that story to anybody. The only people that know that story are people from that day and time, and most of those people are dead. I've never told that story to anybody. First and foremost, let me say this. If you're struggling with any type of depression, thoughts of suicide or hurting yourself, there are numbers to reach out to. There are people to reach out to. This life is beautiful. There's nothing worth giving your life up for. Nothing. Secondly, that's a burden that even though I wasn't the attacker, I wasn't the aggressor, I didn't play no part in it, I was there. I had a lot of influence on my homeboys. I could have easily said, hey, y'all leave people alone, man. Let's just go here, go there. But that was the outcome of somebody that didn't fit in society and a bad Halloween night. Really didn't want to share that story. I was going to save it for a video, but I felt it was necessary. Leave people alone. You never know what somebody might be going through. The way somebody looks, dresses, acts, carries themselves, the way they speak, it does not give you a license to pick on them, bully them, or to mess with them. It doesn't. That's somebody's child, somebody's baby. Somebody gave birth to him. Somebody changed his diaper. Somebody put baby powder on him, bought him little shoes, took him to his first day of school. And because society didn't accept him, accumulated with other things, he decided he didn't want to be a part of society no more. And the thing with suicide is you don't get to redo it. Once it's done, it's done. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. I'm going to jump into some of the comments. That was kind of hard to talk about. It was a hard story to tell. I can still remember what the dude looked like. I remember they had a vigil. They were calling kids into the counselor's office that knew him, asking any of us if we needed counseling to deal with his death. And I remember I went in the counselor's office, even though I wasn't his friend. And I was more or less eavesdropping because I felt like maybe I'm in trouble for this. Maybe my homeboys are in trouble. Maybe they're going to try to put this on us because he did this. And I sat there and pretended like, I didn't have no problems with the dude, man. But I sat there and pretended like, yeah, I knew him. We were cool, more or less, because I was worried that I was going to end up getting indicted or charged for something that, took place. And here in Virginia, it's like this. If you're riding with me, right? Here's Virginia's laws. And I go in and I rob a bank and you stay in the car. And while I'm in that bank, I shoot and kill 3 people. You just caught 3 bodies in a bank robbery because you were with me. That's Virginia's laws. So if one person would have been held accountable for what happened that night, everybody would have been because we were all together. But it just so happened that there was really no proof that that led him to do what he did. But we all knew that it was too much. He was already going through too much. And that was just enough to push him over the edge. That was enough to make him say, I'm throwing in the towel and I don't want to play no more. Treat people with love, man. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. Treat people the way you would want them to treat your child, because that is someone's child. I'll leave y'all with that, man. Let me get into the comments. I hope that y'all don't look at me any differently. I did not know that was going to happen. Have I done violent things to people? Yes. I'm not going to deny who I was. I'll never get on here and lie and paint myself out to be a great person. Am I a better person than I've ever been? Absolutely. I have a huge heart. I'm not hurting nobody that's not trying to hurt me or my family. But was I always that way? No, I wasn't. There was a time where violence was just, it was normal. I had so much pain bottled up inside, and I've been hurt so many times that I guess it was kind of like, feel my pain. They say hurt people hurt people. It's a very, very true statement. And why I don't have that tattooed somewhere, I don't know. But hurt people hurt people. At least that was my excuse. Jump back up. That was a lot. That was a whole lot. Hey, big salute. Thank you, Steve Pascal. Spunk Weirdo said, brick weed that smell like gasoline, good old days. Man, we had some of the worst brick weed you could ever imagine. Like, I got some weed one time. This is no bullshit. And we would get large amounts that we've had weed with everything in it, from rocks, like gravel. Like when they were baling it, they were throwing a handful of gravel in there to make it weigh more. We got a bunch of weed one time and it was in a big ass bag and there was a dead bird in it. And it smelled so bad. We couldn't get the smell out. We've gotten, and this is the 90s with that Mexican weed, we've gotten big blocks that like somebody took a gun and just fired like shot after shot off with a pistol, with a 45, and just dumped all these slugs into this brick to make it weigh more. You got to think, you do that over and over and over, them little balls of lead way up. Or maybe they were just out there in Mexico having fun, just shooting off guns. But that weed was the worst. But we smoked so much of it, man. Remember the shoebox lid? Everybody used to roll up in the shoebox, and you break up, and then you got to take that bitch and tilt that bitch sideways so all the stems and the seeds will roll to the bottom. Ernie Metzoff said, finding a seed now is a blast from the past. Hey, you find a seed now, you feel like you got ripped off. Like, man, this ain't, no, hell no. There was a seed in that. Like, this ain't top shelf. But yeah, I wanted to share that with y'all, man. I really did. Think about how you treat people. Don't live with, there's certain things I got to live with. There's other things that I'll never, ever be able to talk about, ever. I'll just have to keep buried deep inside of my heart, in the back of my mind. There's certain things I'll never be able to share with the world. But just watch how you treat people, because you never know what the next person may be dealing with. We're quick to judge people without really finding out what's inside of their hearts. without really knowing who they are. We're very judgmental society because we want everybody to fit the agenda. Everybody's supposed to be this way or be that way. And if you're just a little bit outside of the ordinary, we become very judgmental. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just catching me just my random comments, man. See, total Poppy, do any of your friends still in prison want a pen pal? Not that I'm aware of. Mark just came home. Woody gets out in December. Y'all will be meeting Woody. Once Mark is ready to come on camera, I have him on. He just finished up right at 20 years. Woody will be finishing up right at 25 years. We're praying Jacob Aquino. He just had a parole hearing. We're praying something shakes. Chad Marks, from what I'm hearing, is going to work on his case and try to get him clemency. Much love to Chad Marks. If you have not checked out Blood on the Razor Wire with Chad Marks, please make sure you go over there and check the man out. He is legitimately helping get men out of prison. And if he could get Jacob Aquino out of prison, I would forever be in his debt. The guy he's an amazing human being. I did a lot of time with him. I know him. Like, when you live for years inside of a concrete box with another man, you come to know them very well. You come to learn things about them you don't like, little pet peeves, and the things about them that make them the great people they are. And he is a good person. But as far as like people that would be good pen pals, at this point, man, I'm afraid to, like, I've been betrayed so many times. I would never want to do one of y'all wrong. I wouldn't want to steer one of y'all wrong, get one of y'all's hearts broken, or get one of y'all played. So I'm kind of weary on doing that. I've been burnt by a lot of dudes, guys that I tried to help and I thought I could help, that I did help, and I still end up being the bad guy. Welcome to my life. Lee Jen said, "Bro, can do your intro for the one time." Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. Fusion TV, hey, big salute. Life is meaningless. Jay Williams, let's live life. Have you ever been to Ohio, and what are your thoughts on Charleston White? I've been through Ohio, but never really spent any time there. My thoughts on Charleston White, I ain't got nothing to say about Charleston White. I don't want no problems, Mr. White. No. I'm a father, law abiding citizen. Do not call the police on me. I don't want no problems. Say whatever you want to say. Do whatever you want to do. No. You go fucking with Charleston White if you want to. The man said for the whole world to see, I want to be known as the biggest snitch there is. I will call the police. Yes. When I pull up, I want people to be like, he's going to call the cops. No, you don't mess with people like that. He's not playing. He's done it on live. He's done it. Like, no, I have nothing bad to say about Charleston White. And if I had something bad to say about Charleston White, I still ain't got nothing bad to say about Charleston White. It's a very good comment I just read right there. I wish this was StreamYard I could post it. Pop Sky has said, we all got skeletons in the closet, some worse than others. But the guilt of destroying others' lives is the worst. Wow. Somebody asked me the other night on our last live, it was one of the hardest things I had to deal with while being locked up. And I guess a lot of people thought my answer would be like violence or hurting somebody or standing by while somebody gets hurt. These are all things that are hard to deal with. But you know what the honest to God hardest thing to deal with while being locked up is? Coming to terms with everything that you've done. Not having a substance or a bottle to hide behind anymore, and really having to come to terms with you. your chaos, the people you hurt, the wake of destruction you left behind, the lives you affected. That's a bad, bad day when all that stuff comes flooding in and all those emotions hit you. Because for years I was self-medicating. For years I was drinking myself to the point that I thought I was drinking away the pain, but all I was really doing was just getting belligerent, masking it, and causing more problems. And before I could address that issue, a new issue popped up. So it was like I was sweeping them under the rug. But on the day that you come to terms with you, that quiet cell, them four walls, nothing, and you have nothing in life, and nobody wants to pick up the phone because you've hurt so many people that love you, people that trusted you. Your name in the streets is good for all the wrong reasons. It's bad. You have to hear your mother cry on the phone because of what you put her through. It's bad. When your children get on the phone and you know that when the phone hangs up, you're going to have to hear them cry. It's bad. We all got skeletons in the closet, some worse than others, but the guilt of destroying others' lives is the worst. True indeed. Great comment. I see Big Weavy in the house. Make sure y'all go check out Doing Time with Big Weavy. Make sure y'all check him out and you give him a subscribe. That man has been busy. I'm talking about to Weavy. If you marathon ran like you marathon streamed, you be about 76 pounds right now. Confusion TV said I'm watching from hospital after surgery yesterday in Australia. I coach in our pro league. What size lids would you like? I wear a 7 and 5/8. I'm having a problem. If you go to my channel, I can't put up none of my merch. If you go to my actual like description at the end of the channel, the info, the link is there. I can't put up any of my merch. I've got a PO box, but unfortunately, I didn't want to put in my name, like because I don't want people to try to track me down, track my house down, my family. So I put it in one of my workers' names, and then I ended up firing him. I got to be the stupidest mother. So I'm gonna have to get a new PO box and just suck it up, man. I've done some doing time big weave. That's what I wear 7.58. I got a big ass head. So you got a big head, Weave. You already know. Like my hat's always on the rack. The only people that buy hats that fit my head are usually dudes with braids or dreads. Like I'll go up to the counter, I put that 7.58 down. They'd be like, nah, you don't. Oh, yeah, you do got a big ass head. You do wear 7.58. Zebby too. No, look, hey, shout out to all my dudes with the big ass heads, man. 7.58 all day. I take it off and show you, but I got that Bruce Willis thing going on that us bald guys get that some people think is like attractive, and I think it just shows my age. So we're just gonna take my word for it. Jordan Schaff said Adam Chewy is sorry, Weeby. What do you mean, Adam Chewy? What did Adam doing? Adam Chewy, shout out to Big Weedy. Adam Chewy is my dude. Me and Adam, we talk a lot. He is one of the few people that I do talk to on the phone. He will tell you getting me on the phone is like trying to catch a jackrabbit. I hate the phone, but Adam Chewy is currently there. He's working on a script based on events in my life that's going to be kind of like a Netflix series, not Netflix, or I don't know where it's going to be, but they're working on the script now, which is a cumulative of like a bunch of all the stories told, put together with some other things added in it to make it what it's supposed to be. And when we talk, his ideas, the stuff he reads off to me is brilliant. And I can't wait until the day that everything starts and goes into production. It's going to be beautiful. It's been in the making, and I have 100% faith in Adam and the guys that he works with, or I would have never agreed to it. Eric, salute first and foremost. Jay, in one of your videos, you said Little Bubba got locked back up. What happened? Is he okay? I'm not going to speak on why he's locked up. He's okay. He's got pending cases. He's locked up. He's okay. Marcus T said, Jay, love your content. Much love from Oceanside. Hey, I love Oceanside. Salute to you and Oceanside, man. None of your business said if you say it's bigger than 7, you got to pull it out and prove it. Oh, you wild for that one. RVA Jones. Salute Jay from RVA Jones. And I think it says Quap or OAP Entertainment. Would love to get you in a video, Jay, for Cameo. RVA Jones. Let me shoot me. Hit me on Instagram. And I've been checking my Instagrams as of lately. I used to not because it just got overwhelming. When my channel first took off, it was so much that I couldn't keep up with it. It was stressing me out, like really stressing me out. So I had to fall back from Instagram for a minute. So but yeah, hit me on the gram and I'll 100% check you out. Get over here. Doing time, Big Weavy said, I apologize, Adam. Yeah, he's good people, Weavy, and he's a good person to have in your corner, man. Very, very good person to have in your corner. Leonardo G, I'm struggling with alcoholism. Any advice, Riverside, California? Absolutely. I am a recovering alcoholic. I am coming up on my clean date. Um, relapsed many times since I made a video saying I'm done. And after that, I would go on to relapse drinking many times. This November makes a year that I have not cheated. I've not had a single drop of alcohol. And I'm very, very proud of that. My advice to you is to learn to hate it. Let it go before it destroys you. I had an event take place one night while I was drinking that could have took all this away from me. Could have took the most important thing in this world, which is my family. Could have took my life, my freedom, all you guys behind wanting to drink. And at that moment right there, I said, I'll never drink again. Doctor started telling me my liver levels are all messed up, and that comes from a lifetime of drinking. I want to be around to see my kids graduate. I want to grow old and die in my bed surrounded by my loved ones. What I do not want to do is die an early death because I didn't listen and I continued to drink. Stop drinking. It is, I know you, it's not that simple. It is that simple. I've been drinking for as long as I can remember. And when I said I'm done and I meant it, I'd said it so many times and I meant it. But then I would think a couple months go by, man, I'll have me one drink. I'll be all right. I'm an alcoholic. I can never have one drink and be all right. I will forever be an alcoholic. I can never drink again. And the hardest part of all of it was learning to be me without the alcohol, learning to have fun without the alcohol. I didn't know how to have fun without drinking. I didn't know how to laugh without being intoxicated. I didn't know how to be in large groups of people. It helped me with my anxiety, and I had all these reasons for why I drink. But after quitting drinking, I come to realize something. I don't need to drink. I don't run from people, but I run from my emotions. I won't run from them, but I'll run from my feelings. That's what I used to do with alcohol. I drank the alcohol to mask how I was feeling. You just have to stop. And if you don't stop, I can promise you this, it'll eventually end bad and you'll think back on this conversation. Don't let it get to the point to where it ends bad. You step in and stop it before it gets to that point. Those are my words to you. Nashville, Tennessee. Good question. I just had my biggest flip ever this week and made 89,000. My question, what was your biggest flip on a house? Okay, if you're saying you made 89,000, you made 89,000 profit off of the sale. That couldn't have been from construction work in a week. You're saying that's what you cleared off of the sale after everything was said and done. That's good. That's actually, with today's market, that's really good. I'll tell you this: we've made phenomenal amounts of money, more money than I could have ever made working for somebody else, and that's why I started my construction company, because there was no way that I could make the type of money I needed to make to support my family and live the life that I knew they deserved by working for someone else. I knew I had a brain, a lot of skill, a lot of trades under my belt. So while I was incarcerated, I did go to school for a whole bunch of different things and get licensed in them. And I came home and I put that stuff to use. And it was a very good choice because we have been in business now 7 years strong, over 7 years. I've had, God only knows how many guys work for me, how many guys come and go over the years. And here we are. We still 10 toes down, still getting it. I got to get up in the morning. It is 1:04 and I have to get up in about 5 hours. But I had to come out here, man. I had to come out here and kick it with y'all on Halloween night. S. Wilson said, big salute. I'm a child and family therapist. I was wondering if you've approached therapy for yourself or your family or in general. What are your views on therapy? I had many years of counseling, and shout out to Patricia Collins. She was my counselor, my therapist. And when she got me and I started talking to her, I hadn't even really opened up about anything. And I just started crying, sitting in this chair in prison. And she's like, go ahead and tell me about yourself. Tell me about childhood. And just in saying the word childhood, I teared up. And the years of counseling helped me. It helped me to better understand why I was so angry. It helped me to dig deeper into what made me the person I become, what made me act the way I act and act out in the manners that I act out. The therapy did wonders for me. The counseling definitely played a major part in me being who I am today. I didn't just take counseling and just like, all right, whatever, and just sit there and all right, pass time. I listened. And then the books she would tell me to read and the advice she would give me, and she'd tell me to write little stuff down. I did it. And some of the best advice, and I want anybody that's got somebody that they just can't let hard feelings go towards. If you've got somebody that you just feel like, I hate this person, there's nothing I can do to unhate them, I want you to do what I was told to do. For me, that person was my father. I've shared this before. My father was a very abusive man, verbally, physically, emotionally. He broke me in every form of how you could break a human being. The man was, you shouldn't talk ill on the dead. The man was a monster, convicted murderer. We bounced around a lot because he was wanted, and these are facts. He was wanted in questioning on some other homicides and some other cases that had taken place. So we would skip around a lot. I always went to different schools. When he died, there was a standoff that took place between me and him prior to him dying. Like we came to our moment of this is what it is. Let's get it. I couldn't take it no more. The anger had overtaken me. I was tired of him beating on me. I was tired of him disrespecting my mother. I was tired of him hurting my siblings. And he had created the perfect storm. As we stood there, he was staring at his creation. But what I was a smarter but meaner version of him. I'm not a killer, but don't push me. You know what I mean? Like, I never proclaimed to be no killer. I'm not a killer. But when it comes to getting violent, if I lose my temper, it's one of those things that scares me. And I had to get up and go to work. And I come down the staircase that morning in particular, and my dad was running his mouth. And I had a little girlfriend at the time or whatever, and he was disrespecting her, which kind of made me feel like a chump. I was 17 at the time, right? And he's coming out the living room as I'm coming down the staircase, and my mom's in the kitchen making coffee. This is early in the morning. And they've kept yelling upstairs for me to get up, but I've been up all night. You know what I mean? I'm 17. So I'm not taking the job serious, but I'm getting up. And the work van is outside honking. They're making noise, and I'm dragging ass coming. And my dad is running his mouth. He's disrespecting me. This all leads back into the therapy. Just follow me now. In that moment of not getting a lot of sleep and looking at him and just kind of taking everything in that he had done to us, every time he had hit my mom, every time he had beat me or beat my brothers and sisters, for every hate-filled thing he ever did to us, it come pouring out. And I dropped my tool bag, and my mom tried to get between us, and I didn't put my hands on my mom. I tried to like move her out the way, and I squared up with him. I was like, "This is it. Let's go." Like I told him, "You can't beat me. I've seen you fight," and the man was a savage, but I was so angry. I just didn't feel like there was any way I could lose, just because I was so angry. And my mom shoved me out the front door and locked the door. And the guys got me to get in the work van, and we left. And the last thing I said to him before I left, once again, this goes back to words have power. The last thing I said to him before I left was, "I hate your fucking guts and I hope you die." He died. I was angry when he died. I was furious that he died. I felt like he got the easy way out. How dare you hurt us like that? How dare you hurt my family like that? And I don't get my get back. That's honestly how I felt. I wasn't upset that he was like had passed away. It wasn't an upset of love. The man never told me he loved me in my entire life, so it wasn't a love thing that had me upset. It was I owe you this ass whooping. Like I need this. I need this to show my mom and my brothers and sisters that I can protect them. And all the times that I couldn't protect them, I need this. I need this win. And he died. So after he died, I spiraled. When I mean I spiraled out of control so bad. I hurt anybody that I came in contact with. It was like I gave them everything that I couldn't give him. If that makes sense. I mean, I just was so fucking angry. I was so mad. Like the audacity of you to die without like, oh man. So you fast forward many years later, man. Excuse me. You fast forward many years later, and I'm in there and I'm talking to my counselor. I'm gonna get into my childhood and everything I pretty much told y'all. I told her, but I told her a lot more. Like I got deep with it. Like if I really got into the levels of the child abuse and things that took place, it's the type of shit to make you want to go dig his coffin up and beat his bones. He's a bad man. They say don't talk bad on the dead. There's no other fucking way around it. He was a bad human being. I didn't know at that age, at this time now, when I started talking to Patricia Collins, I was about 33 years old. This was a year or so prior to me getting out when I started counseling with her. And we really dug. We dug in the crates. We went back to my earliest memories, which were bad. She told me to think of some good memories. I couldn't. But if she told me to think of a bad memory, the first thing I associated with was my dad. So she said, here's what I want you to do, Jay. What this woman that told me next, I thought she was like, I said, man, this lady's cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puff. She's crazy. She said, no, honestly, listen to me. And you need to be open-minded to what I'm about to tell you. If you want my help, I'll help you, but you need to listen. I said, okay. She said, I want you to, when you're done here, go back inside your pod, get a pen and paper, and I want you to sit down, and I want you to write to him as if he was sitting in front of you and you were talking to him. I honestly looked at this woman like she was stupid. She's like, no, hear me out now. She said, everything you never got to say, you say it in that letter. Make sure you get it all out. Get it out, Jay. You got to get it out because it's eating you up inside. If you do not get it out, you will be back in prison. So I wrote the letter, long ass letter. I cried and cried, and I fucking cried and cried and cried while writing that letter. There was so much pain and truth that went into that letter that I never got to express. In my household, showing emotions meant you were a bitch. If you cried, you were a bitch. If you cried, you got beat. Hugs and loves. Nah, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. Just my dad was old school and that's the way it was. But at the same time, he'd hug my brothers and sisters. I seen him like tell them he loved them, but 17 years, I never got that. So I wrote that letter. And she said, I want you to go somewhere where there's nobody else at. And I want you to sit down and I want you to read that letter out loud because he's listening. Get it off your chest. She said, when you're done, destroy the letter. I wrote the letter. It took me a while because I had to write it at nighttime. I couldn't write it in the daytime, right? I didn't want people to see me vulnerable. I didn't want people to see me upset, crying. Here I am in this fucking hardened convict locked up with all these other idiots. Society's failures. Can't get rights. Know-it-alls. Just selfish ass dudes, man. Here I am locked up with all these guys. I can't sit and write this letter in the daytime with everybody watching me, right? So at nighttime, and I'm in a dorm, I would sit on my bunk and I would throw my towel over my head. Because you throw your towel over your head, it's kind of like blinders. And I've been locked up so long, my sense of hearing is, I got Spider-Man senses. To this day, I got Spider-Man senses when it comes to vibrations, movements, hearing, the little things you learn to pick up while locked up. So I sat there with my TV on at night, writing this letter. Long letter. I poured it all out, put it all out on the line. Let him know, had you not have died, I was going to beat the dog shit out of you. For every time you ever hit my sisters. For every time you beat me and you beat my brother. I tell them, do you know that the 80% of them beatings I took weren't even my beatings? They were my brother and sister's beatings. But they were smaller than me. They were scared. And I didn't want to see them take them beatings. So I took them. I fessed up for things I didn't do. And I took them. And it made me mad. So I go out after I'm done with this letter and I sit out in this field. And I read this letter, right? And I cry. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Y'all see that with me. I'm an emotion. I'm a fucking, for real, from emotional wreck. Give me a second, man. And we're back. So I sat out in that field and I cried, man. I read that letter out loud. I made sure I went out there on a day where not a whole lot of guys went all the way to the end of the field all by myself. And I sat there and I read that letter. And
I poured it all out. I finally got it out. When I was done, I burned the letter. I burned it. And in that moment, I was free. I know you're hearing that. You're probably like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. That's rubbish. It worked. For me, it worked. There was no other way for me to let him know what I had to say. She asked me in the beginning, she was like, oh, are you a religious man? I said, I'm Christian. I said, but I ain't no Bible thumper. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna catch me on the choir or nothing. But yeah, I believe in God. I'm saved and all that. Yeah. That was one of the first things she asked me when we first started talking. She's like, so you do believe in a higher power? I said, yeah. She's like, so you believe in prayer and God? Yeah. Yeah. What are you getting at? It was all leading up to that letter. That letter, writing it, reading it, burning it set me free. For the first time in a long time, I could breathe. For the first time in a long time, I could smile and it wasn't fake. I had, I had my moment of clarity. I had I never got my get back, but I got my get right. If that makes sense. Like I let him know how he had impacted me. The one thing I will give him credit for is me being the father that I am. Because when you grow up in a household with somebody like that, someone that hurts their kids, someone that tells you you ain't shit, you never ain't gonna be shit, who tells your mother, which as a child, your mother is the most beautiful woman in the world to you. But you hear him tell your mother, you're the ugliest bitch I've ever seen in my life. You disgust me. And hearing those type of things growing up, he showed me everything I would never be. I don't never want to be you. I don't hit my kids. I don't whip my kids. I'm not gonna put my hands on my kids. There's a couple different reasons. Was he fucked up in the head? Could he control what he did to me? Could he control the anger and the violence that he displayed? Did he have any control over it? Is that something that's inside of me? So I'm not gonna hit my kids. I talk to my kids. I have a big dumbass brain and a big dumbass heart. And I speak to my kids, and that's how I teach my kids. Not by hitting them. I don't want to send the message that when you do something wrong or somebody does something wrong, it's okay to hit them. Or that it's okay to hit people smaller than you. I don't want to send that message to anybody, especially my children, which are sponges. They soak up everything. So I do credit him for teaching me what not to be. That's about all he ever taught me. That and don't run. Never allowed me to run from anything. Never ever did I have the opportunity to run from a fight or run from anything because where was I going to run to? If I ran home, I got my ass whooped for running. But in doing that, there's been so many times I've gotten hurt because I wouldn't run away. I mean, like really, really hurt. Like friends of mine be like, what were you thinking, dude? Why did you go in to sell with that dude? That dude's a fucking gorilla. Like, what are you stupid? I can't run. I know I shouldn't have went in there. I was scared before I went in there. I knew what he was gonna do. Other dudes thought I was just fucking like not playing with a full deck. But you don't know everybody's story, like I told y'all in the beginning. You don't know everybody's story. You don't know everything you think you know. You don't know everything you think you know. You look at a man and you pass judgment on him. You have no clue where he comes from or what he goes through. I seen a woman today. We took the kids trick or treating, and it was this really, really old woman. And when I mean old, like the lady was old, old, like break a record old. and she was passing out popcorn, and she could barely lift her arm high enough to pass the popcorn out. And then looking at her, all I could think is everything that she had seen in life, everything she had witnessed, how many people she had lost along the way. You would never judge nobody like that 'cause she's an old woman, but you'll judge me. You'll judge somebody like me, and you really don't know what's inside their heart. You know why I don't really judge people like that? Let me tell you why. Because I've met some of the worst that the fucking world has to offer. And if you watch the internet and you're watching these dudes on the internet, you're like, that dude's a piece of shit. I don't like him, or whatever the case may be. Let me tell you, there are some fucking guys in prison that make me and every other guy on the internet look like choir boys. Guys in there that fucking they should build bigger prisons and more prisons for to make sure that there's no way they can possibly ever get out. There are some bad, despicable human beings locked up. And I know what bad men are. I know what they are. I've seen what they're capable of. I grew up around bad men. Not just my dad, my uncles as well. They were all fucking shot in the head. You know what I mean? All like, when I say shot, just shot out in the head. All them boys is fucked up in the head. Take all their brains and put them together, and they got the IQ of a fucking soggy Cheeto. So no, I don't judge, man. I'm not gonna pass judgment because I don't want to be judged. We got into a lot more tonight than I ever really planned on getting into. All from that therapy question, man. It was a good question. I'm glad you asked it. And those moments that I was going through that as a kid, I used to pray that he would die. I denounce God, call God names. You're fake. You're not real. No, fuck, you're no real God, man. I would sit by and watch somebody hurt kids and have me expect that you're up there in the clouds, just everything's okay. You're not real. I was so mad at everything. I prayed time and time again that he would die. When he did die, all it did was make me worse. Just made me worse. But jumping to some of the questions, man. John Gavon said you don't have to beat your kids when you raise them the right way. That's right. My kids have been raised right since the day they came out. They know manners, they know right from wrong, and they're not going to do anything that warrants having to put hands on them. Zabi said, facts, Paul. I thought I was alone until I spoke with Weavy and let some tears go, and Jay and all the others. No, you know, if you're somebody that says you don't cry, there's something wrong with you. Like if you can't cry and you can't like shed tears, there's something wrong with you. That is how we purge our souls. Our tears are it's the way we let out our pain. Those are the valves. Like you have to have those tears. Those tears make you human. Not having those tears, that's like the sign of fucking something that's borderline psychotic. Like I'm one of those guys that cries at movies. You know what I mean? Like I cry at movie scenes. My wife like, you crying? I'm like, I ain't crying. She's like, yeah, you. I'm like, no, ain't nobody crying, man. Damn, this movie got me messed up. I'm one of them guys, but that's because I don't know. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. You know what I mean? I got a lot of tears. I got a lot of crying still to do in life. I got years and years of crying that if I really let it all out to let it out, it comes out here and there. But I'm not ashamed of that. Doesn't make me any less of a man. What's in my heart makes me a man. The fact that I'll put it all on the line for my family makes me a man. My morals, my integrity, all that stuff makes me a man. Getting up when I'm sick and I'm fully defeated. As long as I can get up, my hands and my feet work, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. That makes me a man. You can't never tell me that crying makes me any less of a man. No, not at all. That's the complete opposite. Stacey, I'm sorry your dad was so mean. Me too, Stacey. Wesley Mitchell, thanks for sharing, Jay. Always, man. JT Baby said, I'm like that too. I'd be like, wow, I'm crying from a movie. Hey, real facts, man. Michael's Auto Repair, Jay sending salute Jay sending mine from San Diego, bro. Thank you, man. Shut the F up. Noob up late tonight, aren't you? Yeah, I was. We had the kids are bouncing around. They're sick. They got this little stuff that kids get where they sniffle, and Noah's got a fever of 99 something. It's just going up. Bella's got a smoker's cough. Now Noah's hacking. Like, so, and I'm an insomniac. For a lot of y'all that don't know, I function nightly, and my wife will vouch for it. I function nightly on about 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep. I can't shut my brain off. I can't. You could cut the lights off in the room, make it completely silent. I sleep with a fan on 365 days a year. I sleep with a fan beside my bed. I can't cut my brain off. Turn the lights off, turn them on in 2 hours. I'm still just laying there in the dark because I'm at like, it's the body's worn down, the body's done, but the mind is not, and it's hard. I have so much going on, so much responsibility. Like, if I told y'all what I paid out this month in bills, you would call me a liar. And there's probably nobody that could even, you wouldn't even be able to guess, man. You wouldn't be able to guess. What I paid out this month is close to what some people make in a year. That's pressure. That's pressure knowing that if I fail, I failed everybody in that house because they all look to me to win. I don't let them know when I'm stressed. I don't let them know when I feel like I'm backed up in a corner, because the last thing I want them to do is worry, because if they're worried, then I'm worried times 10. But yeah, I don't sleep much. I never have been. I might sleep in on Saturday. That's the most times I sleep. But like Monday through Friday, I do not sleep much. No, I don't do any drugs. And anybody that ever says that, like, you're a whole entire bitch for saying that. And that I will say. Because my guys, my employees, anybody that knows me will tell you I'm anti. Like, I do not do that shit. I hate it. I hate what I've seen it do to my friends. It's killed so many of my friends. It destroyed my family. I left and my family was one way. And I came home and my family had been just fucking ripped and destroyed, just torn to shreds by the drugs. I had no clue. I'm in prison, rotting away. I think everything's cool out here. Nobody's telling me what's going on. I get out and dudes I used to hang out with look like human cockroaches, like walking skeletons. Girls that I went to school with, females that I'd seen right before going to prison, are now standing on the corners tricking. Pretty boys, dudes I used to chill with, I used to get money with, I run into, and they got track marks all the way up and down their arms. I hate drugs. It's put a lot of people I love on the ground. For anybody that ever think that I'm gonna go follow suit, like I don't know what it's gonna do to me. No, no, I ain't going out like that. I gotta die. I know that. I've accepted that. I gotta die. Everybody in here is going to die one day. I ain't going out like that. I don't know how I'm going to go, but that's not going to be the way I'm going to go. Guest 187 said, thoughts and advice on people try to use your past against you. I don't deal with people that try to use my past against me. I deal with good people. If you don't like me, don't deal with me. If you don't like me, don't come around me. If you don't like me, don't talk to me. It's that simple. I'm not begging anybody to talk to me. I mean, you can't use my past against me. I'm cool with it. Not cool with what I did, but I know what I did. But I ain't done nothing so heinous that I can't come back from it. I was a street dude. I did street shit. I did what came with the streets. But I ain't never violated no woman. I ain't never touched on no child. I ain't never, you know what I mean, done nothing like that. So when you go to somebody wants to hold something against you, what do you want to hold against me? That I was young and dumb? I'm 42 years old now. Think I'm the same person I was at 24? No, I'm not. Not the same person I was at 32. I'm not the same person today that I'll be when I'm 52. We evolve, we grow. But for anybody that would try to hold my past against me, that's not somebody I even want around me. It's not. Not my type of people. It's not how we get down over here. We all fuck up. We all make mistakes. Just some of us get caught and some of us don't. That's the difference. When guys say, well, I ain't never been locked up or this or that. No, you ain't never been caught. There's a difference. To anybody that's ever struggled with addiction, you just didn't get caught. I got caught. That's why I went to prison, because I got caught. You know, just selling your buddy a bag of dope can get you sent to prison. Anytime you play middleman and cop something and, all right, everybody throw the money up. And everybody puts their money together and then you break this person off, you break this person off, break this person off. It's a distribution charge for everybody you just hit off. Talking mandatory sentencing right there to prison. A lot of people got lucky. A lot of people smartened up. You know, a lot of people had a lot more common sense at a young age than I did. And we all have different backgrounds. I didn't get tucked in bed at night. Didn't. The Buck said, happy Halloween, big dog. Hope y'all have fun. Salute. Hey, thank you, what the Buck. Dylan McCormick said, big difference. I went to jail because of me, though. Me and me only. At 29 years old, I learned. Now 40. In fact, you know, I was mad when I first went to prison, telling people, man, dude told on me. Yeah, he straight testified on me in the courtroom. Yeah. Yeah, he had a robbery case and came in and told on me. Another dude, the night everything transpired, there was a dude out there that I knew of, knew me. I didn't really know him. Well, after I get knocked for my robbery, short time later, he gets knocked for, like a Mexican was driving between some trailers and he hit this dude with a golf club. Boom! Took his money. He gets hemmed up on the robbery. So the prosecutors swap him out. You testified to the fact that you saw Jay out there that night. That puts him at the scene of the crime. That catches him in a lie. We can get a conviction and we'll lessen your robbery charges. You know, I went telling everybody, that man told on me. For the longest time, I was mad at him. I was mad at him. It was his fault. It's my fault. I'm going to point the finger at anybody else for something I did. They did what they should have did. I don't agree on him snitching on me to get himself out of trouble. That was some bitch shit. But for everybody else that helped in getting me off the streets, they did what they were supposed to do. They protected their community. They got my ass gone. I wasn't doing nothing good out there. I didn't have nothing good to offer the world. I left behind a 2-year-old that I just seen him when I seen him. There's another regret I got to live with. You know, I got my son a couple weeks after I got out, got custody of him, right? Moved him in with me. He was 12 years old. He was 2 when I left. He's been with me ever since. He's 20 now. He's 100 feet from me in his room, in his bed. Before I go to sleep tonight, I'll go in there, and at 20 years old, I'll lean over and kiss him on his forehead and say, I love you, son. Good night. I ain't into making the same mistakes twice. Nah. Rob Gabia said, AJ, I've been talking and helping your guys, Jacob and Philly. They're both solid men. I can't wait to see them both free. Helping your fellow man, it's good for the soul. Thanks, Guppy. Hey, I appreciate you, Rob. I'm sure they appreciate you too. Philly's dealing with some things right now where he's at that I kind of predicted would come. It's a bad place. It's a lot of young dudes there, a lot of young dudes. And it's a YO camp, which means youthful offender. And with these YOs, these young boys just run wild. And they make you want to hurt them. Like they make you want to hurt them. And they do shit to make you hurt them. They're locked up in prison just like all the rest of us. But the problem is they're all gangbanging. They're all linked in. They're all tied in. So they'll talk that shit. They'll fight you. But you're not going to win because the moment you start getting off on one of them, you got 30 on you. And he's dealing with something real similar right now. But what they don't understand is they don't know who they're messing with. They're messing with a vet. Somebody's been doing this a long time. They think that little, since we got 20, 30 people, shit is going to win. It's not going to win. Because he's going to catch one of y'all by yourself when you ain't got 20 or 30 people around, and he's going to do your ass real dirty. And I'm praying that he don't have to. I'm praying that some type of resolve comes, but these are results of the games we play. You know, it sucked when I got out that I couldn't link up with him and I couldn't hang out with him. This dude's he's my heart, man. We've been through war and back together. When he comes home, he'll tell you stories. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna tell all the stories because he's gonna do his channel. I'm gonna let him tell some of these stories. Y'all not ready for this shit. You're really not. I haven't gotten a lot into the street shit. And he'll tell you like how crazy shit really is, man. How scary it gets. How many times we should have died. How many brushes with death we had. But when I got out and I decided that I was gonna do this, man. Nah, I'm not doing what you're doing. I'm gonna be a dad. Not doing what you're doing. No, I don't want to sell dope. Definitely do not want to sell heroin. No, it's a bad idea. No, no. But listen to me. Ah, no, 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 no. You're going back to prison. I shook my son's hand. I hugged him, made a promise, a vow, and I stand on my word. My word is everything. I'm not going back to prison, dog. I can't do it. I got my company up and running. I offered him a job. He wanted that fast money. He didn't want to. He didn't want to work. He didn't want that. You know what I did? I kept working. And then right before Christmas 2015, he got locked up for distribution. They hit him with distribution of heroin. Undercovers watched him serve somebody. That was it. Boom, 9 years. Gone. Fast forward, I'm still working. And I kept my word. I kept my word. And I have a 5-year-old that looks at me like I'm God. And I look at him like he's God. Because he has no idea how much power he has over me at 5 years old. My other son, my 20-year-old, they have no idea, being my sons, how much power they have over me. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those men that I need to be needed. Anybody else ever feel like that? Like, I need to be needed. I need people to need me. I need to be relied on. Because if I don't have that, I don't have nothing. If I don't got that little boy standing in that door waiting on me to come home, and these bills and all these responsibilities, I got nothing. Having all that has helped make me the man I am today. Having all that makes it all worth it, man. going on 2:00. I'm gonna jump out of here. I really enjoyed this talk I had with y'all tonight. I'm sorry I didn't get to answer more questions, but sometimes I just gotta talk to y'all. Sorry I teared up. Not sorry I teared up. I'm sorry I got caught slipping like that, but I'm a human being, not a gangster. Can I get gangster? Huh. I'm a dad, man. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a tough guy. I tell y'all this all the time. Not none of that. I was. It's there. It'll always be there. Somewhere woven in my DNA and the fabrics of what makes me the man that I am is there. And I want it to stay there. I don't ever want it to come out again. Carved pumpkins yesterday. Real dad shit. Taking my son hiking through the woods. Real dad shit. Talking to my son about how to deal with other kids in his classroom that are mean. Real dad shit. Talking to my 20-year-old son about his promotions and jobs and how to get further along. Real dad shit. Am I a gangster? It's a stupid ass question. Nah. You know where gangsters go? Gangsters go to prison. I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. Gangsters go to prison. And the ones that don't go to prison, they die. I'm not a retired gangster. I'm just a guy that was lost. But anyways, these jails, detention centers, these institutions, these streets, they're all just crazier worlds inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing, man. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? Like always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones. You know, some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Like, you know how we do. Salute. If I missed anybody in the chat tonight, it was not intentional. Thank each and every one of y'all for showing up, showing out, showing love. I appreciate y'all. Without y'all, there is no me. Learn from me. Don't be me. Be who I am now. Good night, y'all. And salute.